Hello viewers, and welcome to another edition of F1 Talk, and in this edition I will go over what I thought of the Chinese Grand Prix. It was dominated by one team and one driver specifically. Nico Rosberg gets his first win in Formula 1, and all things considered, a pretty easy win. McLaren, specifically Jenson Button, could have challenged, but with a hiccup in the pits costing him 20 seconds, there was no way he was going to make up the ground and pass Rosberg, even though Button did manage to finish second. Contact at the start of the race with Bruno Senna and Felipe Massa. Massa just braked far too early, and Senna right in the back of him. Quite an interesting race in the midfield, as the DRS zone didn't do a heck of a lot, really, to be honest with you. It's basically because the DRS zone starts about a third of the way down the straight in China, where they have a straight that's over a kilometre long, or just about a kilometre long, and it's just in the wrong place. If it had started, say, 200 metres before it actually did, we would have seen more overtaking. I heard in commentary that David Coulthard actually said we saw 60 passes there last year, and we didn't even see half that this year. For the most part, the race wasn't a spectacular one. It wasn't until about lap 40 where the tyres started to go off, and people started to maximise their strategy and potential with the cars and the tyres and everything, that we didn't see a decent race till, as I say, around about lap 40, lap 45, and then it started to get really interesting. It was as if it was two different Grand Prix. They were passing all over the place. I can more or less guess that Fernando Alonso is not a happy bunny, basically because he was pushed off at least twice. A little bit of team orders going to Felipe Massa, saying, look, Fernando's on a different strategy, which he was. Let's be honest about it. Fernando was on a different strategy, and he was darn sight quicker as well. It just shows you the golfing class, the golfing driver ability between Alonso and Massa. There's no doubt about it that Felipe Massa is a different person than he was when he challenged for the 2008 Drivers' Championship. Okay, the Ferrari is not a competitive car at the moment, and Alonso only just finished in 9th. The car is not good enough to win races, even though it has won a race this season. We're 3 races in, and we've got 3 different race winners. Wheel-to-wheel action with Hamilton and Webber, and Hamilton, I think, is looking back on the last 18 months or so, where he's barely made a pass stick, but some good driving. A little bit of a disappointment from Sergio Perez this week, as there was quite clearly his first set of tyres were his best set of tyres, and as soon as he got on that second set of tyres, specifically the prime tyre, the harder of the 2 compounds, you could see him wavering a bit. Now, the tyres from then on for Perez just didn't do the job, and he went backwards. Bit of wheel-to-wheel action again with his teammate Kamui Kobayashi. A very good race from Kobayashi, I think. I mean, it obviously helps when you qualify 3rd on the grid. I mean, it was a net, obviously, because of Hamilton's 2-place grid penalty. Sebastian Vettel made the wrong decision with regards to the exhaust. They went back to an older version of the exhaust for his car, and they went back not knowing how well it was going to perform. Mark Webber used the newer configuration of the exhaust, and he did slightly better. If it weren't for McLaren's mistake in the pits with Button, he probably would have won that race, although Rosberg, I reckon, did have some time in hand. The mistake, you know, made the race a little bit less interesting as far as the win was concerned, but everyone else behind Button was, you know, competing for the 3rd, 4th and 5th, which went to Hamilton, Webber and Vettel respectively. And I thought Vettel towards the end of the race was actually going to get 2nd place, but Button managed to put in a few blistering laps, managed to get to 2nd place, and it was all down to the respective drivers like Hamilton and Webber to pass Vettel before the checkered flag. And Hamilton left it a little bit late with like 2 laps to go, and with 1 lap to go Mark Webber managed to get past him. Now, you would not believe the cheer and the applause in this house when Webber managed to get past Vettel, and that will do wonders for Mark Webber's confidence. Last year he was absolutely obliterated by Sebastian Vettel, and you can just see in the next couple of races that Webber is going to be well up for it. Vettel, the championship and the season is not going his way at the moment, but if I know Adrian Newey's design skills, if I know Vettel's determination, put it that way, he will be back. And it's just a matter of time for Red Bull figure out what's going wrong, and they sort it out and they start to dominate again. So the teams like McLaren, like Mercedes, like Ferrari, got to get as many points on the board as they possibly can before before the light bulb gets over people's heads. Only one retirement, that seems to be commonplace these days in Formula 1, and for the second race in succession, Michael Schumacher had to retire through no fault of his own. Could he have challenged Rosberg if not for that bad decision letting Michael go in the pits? He was fine to the first pit stop, even though Button managed to overtake him. But Michael came in, 3 tyres were put on properly, 1 tyre wasn't, and it was nothing to do with the person with the tyre gun. It was nothing to do with him whatsoever. What it was the guy at the tyre gun, he was putting the tyre on, and the guy who lifts him up on the jacks goes away, and the commentary team said about the lights is the reason that we're getting sub 3 second pit stops now. And to be brutally honest, we know the trouble that lights, you know, stop and go lights on the pit stops, for instance, can cause trouble. As I say, back in the first race at Singapore with Felipe Massa, that caused immense trouble. You know, all for the sake of saving half a second or a second in the pits. Just get a bloke with a lip pop, you know. That bloke's lost a job now, or he's the one actually controlling the lights. Apparently there's sensors now to tell the cars where they, you know, to tell the light to come on with the tyres on. Obviously this didn't work this time with Michael Schumacher. Yet again, Pastor Maldonado in a little bit of trouble. Again, my thoughts on Pastor Maldonado, you heard at the start of the season. He's getting better, but he needs to understand that there are 23 other cars on the track, and he needs to obviously understand as well that you need to give them space, and at the moment he's not giving anyone space. On to the race winner, Nico Rosberg, hence the hat I'm wearing at the moment. Pretty much dominated the whole weekend from Q3 onwards. The Mercedes clearly has pace, and it's obviously all to do with this F-Duct DRS system that they've got in place. Maybe Lotus have a legitimate challenge with regards to their protest about the system that's been developed and being used by Mercedes. The FIA have declared it legal 3 races in a row. Will that change as we head further into the season? I don't know. I hope everything stays the way it is. It's good to see a new team, even though Mercedes aren't technically a new team. It's good to see new winners, new constructors at the top. As I say, it would have been a lot closer if McLaren didn't make the mistake, but Rosberg did not put a foot wrong all weekend. Basically, the car behaved as well as it possibly could have done, and to be honest, the only person capable of catching him the only people capable of catching Rosberg in qualifying and the race were Hamilton and Button respectively. So it could be an all Mercedes powered engine season, at least until Red Bull pull their socks up. And that's basically what I thought of the race. Rubbish for about 39-40 laps, brilliant for the last 10-15 laps. So I thank you for watching, and my hopes for the immediate future of this particular channel, because somebody else has a F1 talk. I'm currently trying to get into contact with him and see if he can either change the name of his show or maybe just let me continue on with this as I am in, episode 13, 14, whatever. So thank you for watching. Any comments? What did you think of the race? Like I say, any comments in the comment box. Give me your thoughts and opinions on the season so far. I mean, I know we're only 3 races in, but season's cooking with gas right now, and we've got 3 different winners from 3 different constructors, so it's all good so far. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.